This is the story of making some drawer pulls. Now, if you're anything like me and you're into flipping furniture, you've realized that drawer pulls get expensive. And although I love antiquities like this maple leaf jewel, I'm really not fond of them for practical applications, especially in my shop. So I'm going to take some scrap mahogany, use a router table, trim router, sander, and a chop saw, and try and make some drawer pulls. Now, one thing to talk about here, I'm using a bullnose bit. When you're taking out a lot of material, it's very important to incrementally step up the depth of your cut. You cannot maximize the cut on a router table of this size. It's dangerous for you, the router, and the piece. You'll get a lot of tear out and blowout, and it can send a piece flying. So incrementally step up the depth of your cut. If you want to do full passes, really that's shaper work. If you don't know what a shaper is, it's a very large router. Here's my trim router with, I'm not gonna lie, pretty crappy etiquette. I should have clamped that piece down. All apologies there. I was in a hurry. Now I'm cutting these things to width to give me, I think a 1/2 inch or 3/4 overhang over my holes on the drawer faces. And then, unfortunately, I really didn't like the depth of my piece. The proportions seemed a little chunky. So I started to cut them off on the table saw. Really didn't like that moment. It was the butterflies in the stomach. You got to listen to that and back off when you get them, or at least slow down. Now I'm going to take these to 150 grit. I rarely sand at 220 or higher. I just don't like it, to be honest. Should I? That's up for you to decide. I know what I like. 150 is good for me. Setup here on an inverted Rotex is great. Dust collection is phenomenal. Still wearing a mask because mahogany always seems to get to me and make me sneeze. So this is Rust-Oleum matte clear coat. It's a lacquer-based product, and I love it for applications like this. Shop use, small metal projects, indoor furniture. It's just a time saver. And there's 4 coats for you. Scuff sanded in between the 2nd and 3rd coat, and let them self-etch on the 3rd and 4th coat. And I'm feeling pretty good about them so far. Here they are laid out, just kind of finished their catalyzation process. And now I'm going to story stick the holes, or use my combo square to get a consistent marking. Don't go super neurotic overkill on perfection in these holes. Keep in mind that your holes in your drawer face should be oversized, and using a Craig screw, you got a little bit of play. I'd say a heavy 16th on each hole, maybe even larger, to go up, down, left, and right. You're pitching yaw. So when you assemble them like this, you can see I have time and space to get them perfect, quote unquote. And here you go. The finished product, yeah. Mahogany drawer pulls on cherry, kind of a weird combo, but honestly, I've really come to like it. I like the contrast of grain without the contrast of color. Little sunburst effect, which I think is pretty unique. And yeah, I like how it turned out. Now, in the world of drawer pulls, there's a huge selection. It can be overwhelming. And what's more overwhelming to me is the price right now. Like, I used to be able to get stuff even on Amazon for like $2 to $4 a pop. I went into a big box store the other day to buy 4-inch brushed brass, and it was faux brass, and they were like $9 a piece. And you know, you got 8 pulls on this little tiny box that I bought for $20 and refinished in 2 hours. I'm not gonna drop $50 on drawer pulls. It's not practical for me. So if you have the tools and the know-how, take it on. It's like a challenge. It's fun. Also, save you a lot of money. This is a practical application actually where crafting something by hand might actually save you money based on the time you put into it, especially on a volume run. Now, rarely, if you're a crafts person, do you get paid what you're worth or what you think you're worth. Ego steps in, but also it's usually just not practical to craft everything by hand. It's expensive, time consuming, it hurts, and you need space and tools. But for this application, I actually can say that I think this will save you money. So it's worth a try. And if you're doing a large run like a kitchen, you're milling this stock out like it's shoe mold. So it really is not, it's not a whole lot of extra work to double your output. So give it a try. If you guys found this helpful, do me a favor, leave a thumbs up. Subscribe if you like the channel. Last tips I'll leave you with again, just to reiterate, on the bullnose router, it cannot say enough. If you're not using a shaper, incrementally step up the depth of your cut to protect you, your piece, and your tool. Okay, guys, have a good day. See ya.